Welcome again to the new program, this program, of Steps Beyond Time. It's a special program today because Reverend Betty Tatalajski is going to talk about Nelson Mandela, I believe.
Yes, I am.
All right.
We want to honor that great man. Hello, friends, and namaste. You know, namaste is that wonderful Indian word that means the God in me greets the God in you, and I do. And Happy New Year. Well, I had a real New Year's gift. It was about 3 weeks ago. You remember when that blessed, sainted man, Nelson Mandela, made his transition into the spirit world? Well, we were all touched in the heart, you know, and saddened to lose him. But on Friday night, the day before he was being buried, and the funeral service the next day, on that Friday night, he came in through our beautiful and gifted Reverend Kristine Fossetti, already one of the best spiritual mediums in the country. And every other Friday night she has a beautiful circle, a trance circle, and we can talk to anybody that's ever lived, no matter where or when. And the first person that came through came to speak to me. And he says, "This is Betty, this is Nelson Mandela." He said, "I want to tell you," he's got a sense of humor. He said, "I want to tell you that I don't have to apply for membership in the Temple of Universality because your friend, Reverend Dr. Moon, was the first person that met me when I came over here, which was quite a few days before." And he said, he took me directly to meet Sanat Kumura, who is your sponsor, and you know Saint Germain is our director. But he took me to meet the big guy, he said, Sanat Kumura.
The big guy, that's good.
Now, if you've not heard that word before, read the book of Daniel. In chapters 7 and 8, he's mentioned in there a half a dozen times, called the Ancient of Days. And it's wonderful. Now, a lot of people haven't heard his name or about him, but thankfully, Daniel knew him. So I figure if you're going to be in with a bunch of hungry lions, you couldn't pick a better person to be in there with you than the Ancient of Days, often called the Lord of the World, and also the sponsor of the Temple of Universality. So he starts talking, and I am thrilled to my toes, of course. And he said, "Yes, Dr. Moon took me there, and he brought me here tonight." And he said, "You know, we have been friends for a long time." He said, "We walked a similar path. We both spent many years in prison for trying to help people," and which is so true. So I want to read something that he reminded me of last night, because I knew that I wanted to talk about him and in gratitude for his coming to talk to me and the group, okay? He says, Reverend Dr. Moon and I have been good friends for many years. We had so much in common. And he says, now, Dr. Moon works constantly on MEPI, the Middle East Peace Initiative that I've talked about many times here, and that is, just as it says, it's peace effort for the Middle East, and I've been there 31 times now, 31 conferences, thanks to Dr. Moon. And the unification of North and South Korea also, and been there. I love North Korea, and they're like everybody else. They would like peace. They would like some interest here, and as you know, on the well over 100 countries I've been in, I've seen the same thing. People just want to live in peace, but they like a little appreciation, you know, a little conversation. And so, anyway, that's how I see people. There are many humanitarians and world leaders who work with Reverend Moon, he said, over here, and on that Middle East Peace Initiative. They include the many that you talk with a lot, including Anwar Sadat, Itzhak Rabin, Yasser Arafat, Mahatma Gandhi, and he kept listing them. Golda Meir, Mother Teresa, John Kennedy, George Washington Carver, that great man who saved the South with his peanuts and peanut butter, right, which we love, and many United Nations leaders who have made transition, and he says more are joining every day. He says, your President Lincoln leads that group of American presidents that have talked to your group over the years, like your longtime friend, Dr. Martin Luther King. This new year, 2014, is, as you tell the people, a year of spirit. If you add it up, that's what you get. It's a 7, and 7 is the number of spirit. An opportunity for people to work in alignment with us on this side. What a blessing to talk with this great man who sacrificed his life and led his life, as Dr. Moon did, by living for the sake of others. When I heard that mantra, 35 years ago, and I heard Reverend Moon speak of this, living for the sake of others, when he invited and hosted 20,000 ministers from around America. It's a large number. You wonder why so many people went, and you heard so much little about it later, when it was all expense paid for 2 weeks at the Great Walker Hill there in Seoul. And I could see and know and feel the beauty of the man, okay? Many of the ministers said, we're waiting for the shoe to fall, okay? We're waiting to see who this man really is, because nobody is this good. And you don't get a multi-$1,000 vacation here at the Walker Hill for nothing. Well, it is amazing to me where people make their judgments. It seems like a lot of people make their judgments from their stomach, don't they? And they say, oh, I can't stomach this. But you know what? It seems if you're making your judgments from your heart, you can connect with the heart of people. Yeah. And I'll tell you, friends, after this 35, 36 years, my heart has always held the greatest esteem for Dr. Moon, his family, and for the hundreds of thousands of his ministers, his people around the world who are living for the sake of others, okay? Now,
Betty, these trips that you've taken, how many have you gone to the Middle East?
31.
Now, and they're interdenominational.
Yes.
Okay. And what your purpose there is to do what? Every time?
Is to gather with religious leaders.
Okay.
Political leaders.
Okay.
Social leaders.
Okay.
That leadership.
And it's you've met on these trips. They've had Christian ministers from the United States.
Oh,
they've had you met Yasser Arafat.
Yes.
Okay, in Palestine, which is amazing.
I started to bring my picture with him. You know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I didn't. I will.
Yeah, and so
good man.
What was happening over there in this thing that was underwritten by Dr. Moon?
Yes.
Was
and continues to be
an interdenominational support of ministers, the people of faith, to pray for peace in the Middle East, the most troubled spot on the planet.
That's our song. Peace, shalom, salam alaikum. Pray for peace in the Middle East, and we walk those streets chanting. I'll tell you, and we did get it signed on the first one. That was the miracle of the signing.
That story still is.
I get shivers every time I think about it. Because if it hadn't been signed, I wouldn't have had 30 more trips.
Yeah.
You know. But everything is possible, dear friends. Do hold in your mind, as Jesus said, as a man thinks it is.
I just want to step back to that story, Betty. This was her first trip over there, and they were going to sign this document. The ministers of all these different faiths, they're in Jerusalem, all right? They've had a bombing. So the place that morning,
7 people killed.
All right. So
right behind us, in the bus behind us.
Okay. So what happened is that tensions were, as they are, so just at a height.
It was a miracle that these leaders made it, and 400 did.
Yes.
Druze, Jews, Muslims, Christians.
Yes. From all over. Here they were
all over.
In Jerusalem.
Most people couldn't ride the bus because they're scared.
Yes.
You know, the intifada was going on.
Yes. Now, so what happens is there's this document about pledging for peace.
And we've got it 20 feet over the stage.
Okay, big. There it is.
There it is.
All right. Empty.
Come sign it.
Empty.
It's up here. Here it is. Now sign
it. Empty. All right? No signatures.
No signatures.
All right? They're into the last day. All right? You have a plane to leave.
Finally.
Yeah.
I've got 2 hours to get to Tel Aviv.
Okay, to the airport. All right? You're waiting. You are in this room, and
I could feel it.
Okay.
It was Pentecost. I could feel the spirit moving
there
in that room.
All right.
And I said, one flame is all we need.
What I want you to do, Betty, is describe how that happened right before it was. This was the last hour.
We were in minutes.
Okay.
We were in minutes. They were going to have to say, "We've got." Okay,
yeah, this is it. Thank you for coming.
Okay.
No signatures. I mean, these are the Jews and the Muslims. They're not happy. All right?
I am in that room, and I am back in the Book of Acts, and this happening. Just one finger.
Yeah.
Finger of fire.
Yeah.
It wasn't happening, folks. I've never heard such impassioned and people who wanted peace. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm just like this, and I look up, and there's a little man who's so short that I can hardly see him over the podium. I didn't see him come up there.
Yeah.
And well, who was that in that black wrinkled suit?
Yeah.
And this little man just stands there, and he says, "I don't know why I'm here. I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm not a religious man," he said. He was a Jew. I'm not religious. I'm not political. I'm just the broken-hearted father of a 19-year-old son, my only child, who was killed in one of the bombings. But how could I not give his donate his parts, his heart, and all these organs to the little 12-year-old girl that was so badly hurt in the retaliation for that bombing.
So the Palestinian girl, he gave his son's organs to help a girl injured as Israel retaliated for that bombing.
And he had been, crucified for doing that.
Oh, I'm sure.
Okay, well, you stupid man.
Yeah,
okay?
you're helping the people killing us.
But how could I not do it? He was looking for peace,
Yeah.
Can you understand that I had to do it? Well, I'll tell you, Pentecost happened. You might call it pandemonium, but I will call it forever Pentecost. That was that flame of love.
Yeah.
That he didn't intend.
No.
But how could I not?
Yes.
He said.
Yeah.
And everybody jumped on the floor, singing, dancing, having a gala, and everything else.
Yeah.
And
wow.
it just went on and went on. And I just said, oh my God, thank you, God. Thank you, God. I have always been so fascinated by that story and that picture in the Bible. And here I got to live it.
You got to live it.
I got to live it, okay? And that's why I never have missed a Middle East Peace Initiative opportunity, and Jordan, and I do go to Egypt on my own, and next year we'll probably go there. Spirit says we probably will, and because we have been holding Egypt so sacred, because it is a very, very sacred and special place. Thank you for reminding me.
It's an incredible story.
Thank you. Anyway, Mr. Mandela says more people are joining over here. All these people that you talk to are bringing more people into the spirit world. So, which means that more people will be inspired, because inspired means in spirit, in spirit. And they will be hearing from those they don't understand why all of a sudden I feel like, that maybe give peace a chance might work. I mean, I think we heard that 40 years ago. Give peace a chance. We have not heard it for a long time, have we?
They killed the guy who said that.
Oh, no.
Yeah, John, they shot him. This man who did that chant, give peace a chant, was prohibited. The United States government tried to stop him from coming into this country. That was because they saw him as a threat to the United States. A threat to...
Because, honey, don't talk about peace.
Yeah, don't talk about peace.
But you can talk about hatred
all you want.
Anyway.
We'll give you a mic.
Oh, my God, I didn't know
and
that.
a channel.
Oh, Lord. But you understand. Yeah. And this year of spirit, seven chakras, 7 days of the week. And in the book of Revelations talks about a lot of seven a lot. But it's an opportunity to work in alignment with us on this side, he said. And this is Mandela talking. It's a time we're going to be so close. Talk to us. And like Jesus said, ask.
Yeah.
Ask, and it shall be given. And they tell me, we stand around, people of influence, and waiting for you to ask. Waiting for you to ask. We cannot do it if you do not ask. So, Americans used to know that, didn't we? I mean, we founded this country on those Masonic laws of peace. Anyway, so he says, living and teaching, that dictum. Now, we only have a few minutes, but I want to tell you real quick a couple of stories about my Unification friends, because they won't tell you. Okay, we took a big hit on this earth plane, but as I am telling you, he's recruiting others like himself from any time, because there is no time and space. So if he wants to talk to us, to talk to these great beings, we can, okay? He will bring them there and inspire them. So there are two things I'd like to share with you very quickly, because the Unification people themselves will not. Everything they have done is for you, for me. They ask for nothing, okay? And they do not brag about or even talk about the things that they have done in the world. Well, I've traveled with them and known them for over 35 years, and I know this is true, and now that I'm going to tell you, maybe they'll admit it, okay? Okay, first of all, they chanted the Berlin Wall down. Now, I had heard reference to this, not by them, because they don't do it, okay? But truth is often hidden and seldom exposed. It's time, though, that those secrets are revealed. That took a lot of singing, of sitting on through the heat in Berlin, through the ice and snow in Berlin, showing up every day. Didn't show up. They were sleeping on the sidewalk, on those frozen sidewalk, okay? And they chanted, the Berlin Wall must fall. And Spirit tells me they did it, okay? And I believe them. Now, the other one is that Spirit, when I was on one of the trips, and I'm that 5 o'clock Honda K prayer, okay? And the Spirit says, write this, that my Spirit teacher, Elijah Elias, the great prophet of Israel, has said, write this. The way the wall came down is, I had been planned for years, and I'm taking money over to Russia. They are cold and they are starving. And he said, so I took my little angels, the dancers, the dance troupe. I took some other folks there, and he said, but Spirit said, when he and that great soul, that's what they called him, this great soul, Mikhail Gorbachev, embraced, we were looking forward to that. We planned it, and the anvil struck. These two great souls came together. We struck the anvil, and the Iron Curtain fell, okay? It has always amazed me why because they're modest, because they're doing it for the sake of others, not for self, okay? But anyway, they did it. So I said to the goddess Athena, who I talked to a lot, and, she's the goddess of wisdom, and I said, well, everyone seeks the truth. She says, no, Betty, they don't. Most people do not want the truth. Well, I said, well, the Bible says you shall know the truth, and the truth will set you free. She says that's exactly what the beloved Jesus said, but most people do not want to know the truth. Well, you got it, okay? Love you.
Folks, I want to tell you, here in Tucson, at the corner of Country Club and Prince, every Sunday at 11 o'clock, the Temple of Universality has its weekly service. It was founded by Reverend Betty Tatalajski here. She never intended to start a church. She never intended to become a minister, but she was told in trance at Camp Chesterfield in Missouri to do so. A church founded on the premise that there is truth in all religion. 11 o'clock Sunday, Temple of Universality.